opening process. Along with that, it also involves the types of advances or the types of deposit accounts. Then the customer relationship management, types of advances in the banking perspective. And from the insurance point of view, this unit includes your role of development officers and personal and commercial general insurance products. In two classes, we will try to cover some major aspects of these areas. So to start with, we'll first of all try to find out what is the account opening procedure in a bank. So as you know, unless and until you have an account with the bank, you cannot be considered as a customer of the bank. Whether you are a depositor or you are a loanee, you are supposed to open an account with the bank. Now, whenever you try to open an account with the bank, what is the procedure that you need to follow? That thing we discussed. The steps involved. The first and foremost step is to go for a research regarding where you want to open an account. As you know, there are a number of banks being operating all across the country. So you need to find out, you need to identify what is the particular bank or which is the particular bank where you want to open your account. And at the same time, you also need to find out what type of account you want to open, as there are a number of accounts being opened with a bank. So as per your requirement, which type of account you want to open, that thing you also need to choose. So the first step is basically research and choose a bank. And while choosing a bank, you must have to take into consideration the type of account you want to open. As there are a number of banks, you need to identify which particular bank. So for that, we generally take into consideration which bank is going to provide us the maximum return that we are expecting, because on our deposits, we expect the return in the form of interest along with the safety of our funds. So we're looking at that and which bank is asking for what minimum amount to be kept in the account, whether you are able to maintain that minimum account or not. So by looking at many factors, you first of all need to identify the bank of your choice where you want to open an account. So this is the first step. Then second step, after identifying the bank, you need to gather documents. You need to gather documents. As you know, for any sort of account opening with any sort of financial institutions, you require some documents. So you know what type of documents are supposed to be used or asked for. by the way, and accordingly, you need to gather the documents basically includes your identification. Who is talking? Please stop talking.
RD, please mute yourself.
जैसे मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया ईएमआई कार्ड कस्टमर लेवल पेज पे आपको अभी ईएमआई कार्ड के डिटेल्स नहीं दिखेगी। यहाँ पर ये सारा प्लान और डॉक्यूमेंट कलेक्शन ये फॉल्ट क्या है, बाय डिफॉल्ट क्या है, ये फॉल्ट दिखाई देगा बाय डिफॉल्ट क्योंकि ये ऑलरेडी हमारे कस्टमर है और ईएमआई कार्ड कस्टमर के केयर में डॉक्यूमेंट हमारे पास होते ही बट ये सिनेरियो में रीकेवाईसी का है डॉक्यूमेंट में होता है दोनों में से उस सिनेरियो में मान लीजिए कि रीकेवाईसी का दिख रहा है आपको फिर उस कस्टमर का हमारा केवाईसी
So you need to gather the documents which are supposed to be used. Documents basically involve the identification proof document, the address proof document, along with that the PAN card. In many cases, the PAN card is also required. So all these documents you need to gather in the second step. After gathering, you need to visit the bank. You need to visit the bank. Earlier, for opening an account, there is supposed to be the physical presence of the customer. Therefore, the prospective customers who wishes to open an account with the bank were needed to visit the bank branches nearer to their location. But nowadays, as you can find, even on online you can apply. So along with visit the bank, you can also say or apply online. Apply online. Either you need to visit the bank or you need to apply online. When you visit the bank or try to find out online what is the procedure, there you will be first of all after being or after discussing with the branch officials, you will be given with an application form, account opening form. So the next step is your fill out the application form. Fill out the application form. One application form will be provided to you. Basically, it is in the form of a account opening form, and you need to fill out that form. Whatever is required to be disclosed, whatever is required to be filled up in the prescribed form, you need to fill it up. Then, along with the filling of application form, you need to provide the required documents. So next step is provide required documentation. Whatever documents you have gathered in the second step, out of those, whichever document is required to be given along with the application form, you need to provide all the required documentation. Once you give the application form and the required documentation, you are supposed to enter into an agreement with the bank because you want to open the account you have filled up the form, you have given all the required documents. So after that, they will ask you to enter into an agreement whereby you need to sign those agreements. Many times in the application form itself, the agreement is being attached. So sixth one is sign necessary agreements. Sign necessary agreements. Either agreements can be given to you by the bank official, or the agreement sometimes have been attached with the application form, and you need to give your consent by putting your signature. Once you put your signature on the agreements, you will definitely receive your account information. So next is receive account information. That means whether the account has been opened or not, related to that, and information will be provided to you. If you have visited the bank physically, then they will tell you, yes, your account has been opened. Or if you are applying online, then a message will come that your account has been accepted. Now, once you get the information regarding your account, you will be asked to make some initial deposit. So, eighth one is make initial deposit. Make initial deposit. Many times this initial deposit is also not required, because as you have already known the fact that whenever the zero balance account is to be opened, you don't have to have any balance in your account. You don't have to make any initial deposit. No frill account or zero balance account, which basically the government had initiated from the year 2015, that is Jan Dhan account, where the account holders were not needed to give any initial deposit. But the rule of the thumb is that once you are allowed to have an account with the bank, the first and foremost thing you need to do is to make some initial deposit. Unless and until you do it, your account cannot be activated. Once you make some initial deposit, then your account will be activated. So activate your account. Once you activate your account, that means your account now is in operation. And once it gets activated, you can start using your account. So the last step is start using your account. Clear? So these are the different steps which are involved in the opening of accounts in a bank. Let me unmute you all. So you can unmute yourself now.
Sir, point गुड़ाक सब one by one टिके खाली just कही देबे कि पढ़ी होनी.
First is research and choose a bank. Second is gather documents. Third is visit the bank or apply online. Fourth is fill out the application form. Fifth is provide required documentation. Sixth is sign necessary agreements. Seven is receive account information. Eight is make initial deposit. Ninth is activate your account. 10th is start using your account. Got it?
Yes, sir.
सर केवाईसी पार्ट टा एटी छाड़ी गेल ना सर केवाईसी आजकल केवाईसी कंपलसरी है ना एक्टिवेशन तो अप्रूवल तो ही
What do you mean by KYC?
सर नो योर कस्टमर जोड़ा सर तो एक्टिवेशन करना वाला पड़
What is required in KYC?
That is KYC for renewal purpose. I mean, that is the next step, not at the time of account opening, because you have submitting all the required document.
What do you have? So I have already pointed out, na? Gather documents, then provide required documentation.
Correct, sir. So
So
KYC
this-
is the renewal. I mean, after 1 year, 2 year, that is the no year. I mean, renewal process. They are asking their address has been changes and updated. Then you have to update that. That's why renewal.
With your bank. That you need to update with your bank if any changes occur in the documentation that you have provided. If any changes occur in any of the documents, you need to update that with the bank. What are the
Correct.
type of opening of account? You need to provide all the documents which are required, and the
Yes, sir.
documentation itself indicates the KYC fulfillment.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Are you clear?
यस सर
Thank you. Now coming to, once you have opened an account, you have already pointed out what type of account you need to open. So you need to be familiar with the different types of accounts. So generally here we are concentrating more on the deposit accounts than on the loan accounts. As we have pointed out that opening of an account indicates a person wants to open a deposit account, not a loan account. But once you ask for some loan and the loan gets sanctioned in your name, you need to open an account with them, which is a loan account by nature. So the types of account will basically focus on the different types of deposit accounts. Now, if you look at the types of deposits which the banks are providing to their customers, the deposits can be in the form of demand deposits and time deposits. So you can have demand deposits account or time deposits. What is the meaning of demand deposit then, and what is the meaning of time deposit? Demand deposit basically are those deposits where the depositor can withdraw money as and when it demands, or the depositor is allowed to be repaid with money as and when it demands. And the bank doesn't know when the depositor is going to demand for the money. Therefore, the bank needs to be ready enough at all times to meet the demand of the depositors. So demand deposit means it can be repayable, it can be withdrawable on demand of the depositors. Coming to time deposit, you can say that these are the deposits which are supposed to be repayable or withdrawable on the expiry of a time period for which the deposit has been kept. So before the expiry of the period, theoretically speaking, the amount cannot be withdrawn from time deposit accounts. But in the real world situation, in the modern day banking, you can find that even theoretically it is not possible to withdraw money or to repay money in the time deposit account. But practically the banks are providing this facility to their customers for the purpose of retaining their customers as well as expanding their customer base, because they are into a cutthroat competition. It is the hard-earned money of the depositor which the depositor is keeping with the bank. And if at its time of requirement the depositor is not supposed to get back the fund only because it has kept it in the form of a time deposit, then the depositor will definitely lose faith on the bank. That is the reason why, although theoretically speaking, repayment of funds or withdrawal of funds in case of time deposits is not possible before the expiry of the period for which the time deposit has been kept, but practically the bank is allowing this facility. But there, the depositors has to lose some interest amount. Now coming to demand deposit accounts, there are two different types of accounts which are covered under the demand deposits account. One is your savings account,
And current
one is your current account.
account.
Sometimes current account is also known as your checking account.
Yes, sir. Correct.
And these two
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
yeah,
excuse me. As the time deposit, you are saying before the expiry of the time period, and the depositor can.
cannot withdraw or cannot be repaid theoretically, but practically the
And
bank is
he lost
allowed.
her interest also, sir. And he lost her interest also.
Yeah, if the depositor is supposed to withdraw money or supposed to be repaid with money before the expiry of the time period, then the depositor is supposed to face with some loss of interest. Some interest income will be lost.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that is called
Sir,
premature,
sir,
right, sir?
current account or for within bracket here. What is
But
written in the
what is
So one is
current
current
account
account, and
and
the other
within
one is
bracket?
Sir,
checking account.
checking.
Okay.
Generally, this is called
CHECKIND.
checking account. If you go to the foreign land, you cannot have the name of current account. In the foreign land, it is being known as your checking account.
Correct, sir.
So the foreign banks which are coming to
Sir,
India
could
and
you just
operating
explain
here, they
the
are
difference between these three, like changing account, current account, difference?
current account and checking account are same. Savings
Okay.
account and current account, there is difference. I am coming to that. What is the difference?
Okay. Done. Thanks.
So savings account is that type of demand deposit account which is specifically allowed for individual customers. As an individual, if you want to have an account with a bank, that too, the type of account you are preferring is demand deposit account, then you will be allowed with a savings account, opening of a savings account in your name. So it is for individuals. And in savings account, there is certain limitations on the withdrawal of fund. The limitation might be in the form of a day limit or in the form of a transaction limit or in the form of frequency of limits. That means in a day, up to how much you can withdraw. There is a limit to that. If you are using your debit card, you can find that on a daily basis, you cannot withdraw whatever amount you require to be withdrawn. Because the bank has imposed a limit. Up to maximum 40,000 or 30,000 or 20,000 you can withdraw, not more than that. That is the daily limit. Then there is a per transaction limit. Per transaction. Once you transact by using your debit card to withdraw money from your account, so at once, at best, you can withdraw either 10,000 rupees or at best 20,000 rupees, not more than that. Below 10,000 rupees, you can withdraw it simply. If you are trying to withdraw more than 10,000 rupees and within the limit, transaction limit, then you will be provided with an OTP in your mobile phone, which is registered with the bank. And by putting that OTP, you can get the required amount. But the transaction limit is there. Sometimes, or in some cases, it might be 10,000, and in some cases, it might be 20,000, but not more than that. There is a frequency limit also. That means free transaction. You can find out that if you are using your debit card in your own bank, in any branch, in any ATM of your bank, then you can use it freely for 5 times or for 6 times a month. Beyond that, if you are using it, then you are supposed to pay some penalties, pay some fees. And if you are using it in the ATMs of some other banks, then free transaction is allowed up to 3 times or 4 times. Beyond that, you will have to pay a penalty. And in savings account, generally some interest is being given because there is some limitations on the withdrawal of fund. So you cannot withdraw all your fund from the savings account at once or in a day. Therefore, the bank is supposed to pay some return on it. And the return is basically in the form of interest. So it is for individual customers, and in this account there is a limit to the transaction. The limit might be in the form of a transaction limit, might be in the form of a day limit, might be in the form of a frequency limit. And interest is being paid on this savings account. Coming to current account, this type of account is allowed only to the business customers. As an individual, you cannot be allowed to open a current account. Current account is being meant for business customers. By business customer, I mean a tiny business, starting from a tiny business to a large business. If you can find that a person is having a little shop and he wants to have an account for his or her business, then also the little shop owner is allowed to have a current account. In current account, what happens? There is no limit to the transaction, unlike savings account. No limit to the transaction, and generally check facility is being provided. And most of the times the transaction gets settled through checks, and no limitation on the withdrawal of money or on the repayment of money. And because there is no limitation on the withdrawal of funds in current account, so generally the banks do not provide any interest on current account. So it is for individual customer savings, it is for business customers. There is a limit on the withdrawal of funds in case of savings account. There is no limit on the withdrawal of funds in current account. Because of limitation of frequency, you cannot withdraw money from your savings account all the time. But in current account, it is basically in the form of a running account. On a daily basis, whatever times you want to use your current account for transaction purposes, you can use it. That is the reason why no interest is being paid on current account, whereas interest is being paid on savings account. This is the difference. So savings account and current account.
Sir,
Yeah.
I like to mention here that current account with CLTD facility, corporate liquid term deposit, giving some interest. In our organization, we are maintaining some current account with CLTD facility, and it is giving some interest on current account also. So, if you kindly clear this issue, then we can have a.
Sir, if you allow me, I can just clarify on this. This is
Yeah.
Kumar.
Sure.
Mr. Pinaki, yes, that is possible if it is linked with linked FD, linked account. Then you can get some interest in current account. That there is some linked day. That means if you are acquiring that linked account that is connected, then you can get on current account and some interest. What we are
Linked
talking about.
account means?
Linked account is you can also access that saving account as usual. That means there is some law as per RBI. If you are depositing that, that means acquiring your account has been minimum amount you will be just saving 10,000. And if today your account is hitting more than 10,000, it will be automatically created a FD. And whenever it will be applicable, if before 7 days, you are just withdrawing, I mean, you will be required, then there will be no interest amount. If you are just withdrawing after 7 days, then you will get some interest and it will be automatically, that is called linked account. You can go there. That is possible or saving account as usual current account. What I am doing also because I am here looking, I am treasury head here. I'm in my organization and I am globally looking that account, not only Indian and as usual 5, 7 subsidiaries in. That's why I'm doing. That's why I know what we are talking about. That is my experience. Sir, if I'm wrong, then please correct me.
No, you are absolutely right. In general, we are talking about the current account. And in general terms, no interest is being paid on current account. Rather, the current account holders are asked to pay some fee to the bank. Because there is no transaction limit, they can use the account whatever times they want to use it. So for maintaining current account, the banks are supposed to invest some money or invest some time. For that, they are charging some fee from the current account holders. It is in general. But what you are saying nowadays on current account, if you are having a corporate current account, here we are talking about the business accounts, and the business can range from a tiny business to a large scale business also. So in large scale business, the transactions are also large. And many times, as he has pointed out practically, that if your current account is linked to any other account, then you can be able to get some interest. Otherwise, in general terms, no interest is being paid on current accounts. Are you clear?
Yes, sir. Even, sir, just I am, even Mr. Pinaki, you can also get that facility in your saving account. You can just contact your bank and that this facility is also in a saving account. You can do as usual and get in that way. Both, this is
Okay, I
as
need to
per
check
RBI,
it.
this is both applicable for both account because I am also getting this facility in my saving account.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you for your
Okay.
insights. I also learned something from you because I didn't have that
So,
idea.
sir, I am treasury head of this IT company and globally I am looking the 7 subsidiaries. And that's why I'm just, my experience is what I am just sharing with you. Might be I'm wrong, but yes, practically I'm doing this.
You are experiencing all these things, you are
Yes,
into
I
it.
have more
So
than 10-year
you
experience in
are
banking.
supposed to be wrong,
Yes, sir.
but
I have more than
to
10-year
be
experience in
understanding,
banking.
you have given some knowledge to me also. So I am thankful to you also because I
No,
didn't have
sir.
that
No,
idea.
sir. What I learned that I'm just sharing with you and my friends, I mean my team, classmates, and nothing else.
Sorry. But thing is that we all can learn from each other. That is the beauty of teaching to all the executives. That even teachers can also learn something from you because you are practically experiencing something, so you can share your experiences also. It's a
Correct, sir.
good.
Correct, correct. Thank you, sir.
Now coming to time deposits, the time deposits can either be in the form of a fixed deposit,
FD.
we call it as the FDs, or a recurring deposits, we call it as the RDs.
Yes, that.
And fixed deposit and recurring deposit, they are considered to be time deposits in the sense that deposits into such accounts are supposed to be kept over a period of time or for a particular period of time. And the time period basically varies from 7 days to 10 years, not more than that. 10 years is the maximum limit. After 10 years, you can go on to renew that account. But you cannot keep it for more than 10 years or you cannot keep it for less than 7 days. So 7 days to 10 years is the time period. And in fixed deposit, you need to keep a lump sum balance at once for a particular period. On that, you are supposed to get some interest for the period for which you have kept the fixed deposits. But in case of recurring deposits, that lump sum amount you are supposed to pay in installments. So if suppose you are not financially that strong, or you are a salary owner, or you are running a small business, but you want to get the benefits of fixed deposits, then you can be allowed to open recurring deposit, whereby that lump sum amount, which normally a person keeps in the fixed deposit at once, that lump sum amount can be paid in installments. Suppose 10 lakh rupees you want to keep in the form of deposits. So in case of fixed deposits, you are required to keep 10 lakh rupees at once in the form of fixed deposit. But if you want to open a recurring deposit to have 10 lakh rupees in the account, you can pay that 10 lakh rupees in 10 installments or in 20 installments. And the time period is being fixed initially. Maybe for a period of 2 years, maybe for a period of 5 years, maybe for a period of 3 years or 7 years, like that. But the difference is that in fixed deposit, the entire lump sum amount attracts interest for the entire time period. But in case of recurring deposits, the installment payments attract interest for the remaining period for which it is supposed to be kept. Let's suppose you want to open a 5-year recurring deposit account. So in the first month, whatever you deposit, that deposit amount will attract interest for a period of 59 months. In the second month, the second installment you put into the deposit, that second installment will attract interest for a period of 58 months. The third installment will attract for a period of 57 months. So in this process, you can find that although there is no such difference between the relative rate of interest between fixed deposit and recurring deposit, but the absolute amount of interest basically differs a lot between fixed deposit and recurring deposits. And in recurring deposit, if you default on making installment payment, you might be imposed with some penalties. Because the bank in agreement has agreed to receive money from you on installment basis, and the installment period is basically a periodical term, might be in the a period of 1 month, or period of 2 months, or period of 3 months, like that. So if after paying 2-3 installments you default on making payment, the bank will have to face with some loss. That's why the bank can impose some penalties on you if you default on making payment, installment payment in case of recurring deposits. But here the rate of interest in both the cases are same, the real rate of interest, but the absolute amount of interest differs a lot between these two. And these two are supposed to be the term deposit or time deposit accounts. Apart from that, as you know, there can be numerous types of accounts which are being allowed by banks to open, but these are the basic types. Time deposit and demand deposit, these are the basic types. You can have your, you can say that health saving accounts, which is a new deposit account which has been introduced by the banks. You can have a money market account, you can have a individual retirement account, like that. We generally call it as a pension accounts. So many number of accounts are actually being allowed by the banks to open in the bank. We don't need to get into that. In the note, I will give you some of the types of recent accounts which are allowed by the banks to open by the individuals. So you can go through that. But overall, you can say if you look at the types of accounts, and particularly here, since we are focusing on the deposit accounts, so the deposit accounts can either be in the form of demand deposit account or in the form of time deposit accounts. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Then come to one of the major areas, that is importance of CRM in banking. By CRM we mean the customer relationship management. And since banks are into the services sector, and in the services sector, customer is supposed to be the king. And all the service sector business is basically supposed to be customer centric. So, relationship with the customer is supposed to be maintained at the top level, because you need to maintain your or retain your existing customer base, and at the same time you also need to expand your customer base by adding more and more new customers. So particularly in the services sector business, although the concept of CRM is also now applicable to the manufacturing industries also, because there the customers are basically in the form of B2B customers. But in services sector, the customers are the individuals, particularly. So all the services sector business put more emphasis or give high priority to this concept of CRM. It is applicable to all the service sector businesses, because they know that customer is their king. They know that they need to retain their existing customer base. So what this customer relationship management is all about, and what is its importance particularly in the banking business, that thing we'll discuss. Now, as you know, someone of you have highlighted about the KYC. Now, why KYC is needed at the time of opening an account?
Sir,
Can anybody?
can you clarify that? For this is for communication between bank and customers.
So why it is needed? Earlier it was not happening. If you go to the pre-liberalization era, no KYC documentation was there.
Yes, it has been implemented, I think, last 7, 8 years, because that's if I have updated my address in bank at the time of opening bank account and I have changed, I mean, my address, and the bank will be sending anything, I mean, my updated address in bank. So time to time it should be updated. Bank should be know actually that what document has been given earlier was same. It hasn't changed anything else from customer side.
Basic question, why it was introduced and when it was introduced.
To avoid fraud.
Yes. So basically, after the aftermath of the Hawala scam in 1993, the government thought it proper to introduce these KYC guidelines, because there was siphoning of money from our country to other countries by the help of certain fictitious accounts. Suppose you are a businessman, you have hired 20 number of employees, so you can go on to open account in the name of 20 number of employees, transact in those accounts on your own and try to siphon the money, make the money, or try to convert the black money into white money. So KYC is needed because whenever the bank tries to accept anybody as a customer, the bank is of the view that the person is going to be a long-term customer. That is the reason why a long-term relationship has to be maintained with the customer. Then only they can maintain their customer, they can retain their customer. Because bank is going to accept a person as its customer, that too for a long period of time. Therefore, bank has all the rights to know the antecedents of the prospective customer. What the customer is all about, from where he or she belongs to, whether he or she is a bona fide citizen of the country or not, what is the previous banking history of that person, what that person is doing, what is the income source of that person. So all these things are there. Normally you can say that whenever a marriage is to happen between two persons, in our Indian culture the marriage basically happens between two families. And without knowing the antecedents of the other family, no family can go to have a relationship with the other family. So generally what we do, we try to find out what is their background, what are they doing, who are the people they are meeting with, whether they will be much more conducive to our environment or not. All these things we go on to investigate. Just like that, the bank also has the authority to do the investigation. Because in marriage, the relationship is supposed to be a long-term relationship. And here also, the relationship is going to be a long-term relationship. So knowing about the customer, knowing about the details of the customer can help the bank in providing better and efficient services to the customers, as a result of which the bank can go on to retain the customer base or can go on to attract more customers. So in the customer relationship management, they know or they do the research about the customer by going through the KYC documents, and also they try to settle any sort of grievances of the customer as soon as possible, as per their ability, in a manner whereby the customer can get the maximum satisfaction. So the basic objective behind the introduction of CRM is to maximize the customer satisfaction. So if you look at the key aspects of the importance of CRM in banking, you can find that the first aspect is enhanced customer understanding. It means CRM helps the banks to understand the customer in a better way. If the banks have opted for CRM, then there is every possibility that the bank can understand its own customers in a better way. So it improves the understanding of customers by the bank. When you understand the customer properly, as per the need and requirement of the customer, you can provide the services to the customer. So the second point is improved customer service. Unless and until the banks adopt the CRM, they cannot improve the customer service. Because only when they understand the customer in a better way, they can provide the improved services to their customer. So improved customer service, for improved customer service, it is highly required that the bank should adopt the CRM. That is why the importance of CRM is there.
Sir, fast lane.
First is enhanced customer understanding. Second is improved customer service. Third is customer retention or loyalty. Customer retention or loyalty. Fourth one is efficient resource allocation. By knowing the needs of the customers, they can properly allocate the resources. So in that process, there will be efficient allocation of resources. Efficient resource allocation.
Sir, once again for point.
Efficient resource allocation. The next one is your risk management. Next one is your long-term profitability. And the last one is your competitive edge and innovation. By understanding the customer, by knowing the customer needs and requirements, you can come out with new products to meet the diverse needs and requirements of the customer. And by maintaining a good relationship with the customers, you can have a competitive advantage over your competitors. So these are the aspects, these are the areas which
Sir,
specifically
7 line repeat. That's 7 line.
competitive edge and innovation. Clear? So this is all about the importance of CRM. Next class we will deal with the other aspects.
Yes, sir, last one, please.
Competitive edge and innovation.
Sir, and what does that mean?
That means by knowing the customer properly, they can have an edge over their competitors. Their competitors might not be able to attract their, their own customers.
Okay.
Or you can go on to attract the customers of your competitors if you are maintaining a good CRM. That means you have a competitive edge. Clear? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.